Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at noon starts now.
An investigation underway after a 73-year-old woman is found shot and killed in Southfield. That tops our news today at noon. Police were at the scene at the Legacy Place Apartments near 9 Mile and Greenfield. Let's go live to Priya Mann. She's at the Southfield Police Department for us at this hour. And Priya, what do we know about the investigation right now?
Sandra, we know that suspect is lodged here at Southfield PD. He's currently being interrogated. He was taken into custody after giving police officers conflicting information. As you mentioned, that 23-year-old man called 911 around 11:30 Thursday night. He said a senior citizen wasn't breathing and cold to the touch. When officers arrived at Legacy Place Apartments, that's near 9 Mile and Greenfield, they found a 73-year-old woman who'd been shot multiple times in a back bedroom. The man didn't tell police the woman was shot, and officers recovered the weapon they believe was used in the shooting. The suspect in custody is a family member of the victim. He has a prior conviction of domestic violence stemming from a case in 2020. He had recently moved in with the victim. The chief says there has been a troubling rise in senior abuse. Take a listen.
When you look at this case, what I've discovered is that this suspect recently moved in with our victim. And so, again, very tragedy, particularly if this information is accurate, that she would allow him into her home and then ultimately become a victim of a violent crime.
And the chief says the 73-year-old victim was a very active member of her community. That young man in police custody is expected to be arraigned this weekend. The chief expects to hold a press conference early next week where we'll learn more about this very tragic case. Reporting live in Southfield, I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
All right. Thank you, Priya. A $3,000 reward now being offered for the suspect in a deadly gas station shooting. 22-year-old Joshua Carter wanted in connection to the shooting death of 46-year-old Talal Shamo. This happened Wednesday afternoon at the Marathon gas station on Ryan near 9 Mile. Police say Shamo parked his car in the parking lot there. Another driver pulled up and started arguing with him. Well, after some sort of struggle, Shamo was shot several times. He died. Anyone with information is being asked to call police. Another big day today in the federal trial against 4 men accused of plotting to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer. One of the men, Caleb Franks from Waterford, is again on the witness stand today, this time being grilled by defense attorneys. Franks has testified he was not entrapped into the plot by the FBI. Today he told the jury he did not take suspected ringleader Adam Fox and his talk of kidnapping the governor seriously. Up next this afternoon, a key FBI informant who infiltrated the group and also documented their actions with secret recordings of their conversations. A case of bird flu has now been found in wild birds in Macomb, Monroe, and St. Clair counties. The bird flu, as you may know, is highly contagious, but it's a low risk to people. So far, no people have been infected. The disease can infect domestic poultry like chickens, geese, and swans. Health officials are urging you, if you do have domestic poultry and you come in contact with wild birds, you want to disinfect your hands and also your clothes afterwards. Time now to get a check of the weather for you on this Friday with Brandon. And Brandon, this weekend looking a little bit cooler.
It is. We're sort of trending the wrong way as we hit the end of March. Today could be the warmest day that we see for almost another week, and it's not all that warm. 39 Pontiac, 37 Lapeer, 42 in Mount Clemens, 43 Metro Airport, 39 Fahrenheit, Harrow, Ontario. Winds out of the west, anywhere from 7 to about 15 miles an hour, and that does create a little wind chill, so it feels more like the low and middle 30s, and there's a little bit of drizzle out there, not much, but we see it on the north side of Livingston County, basically drifting due east, northern Oakland, Macomb counties, here and there with a little drizzle coming and going. But there's a second cold front of the day coming, and that does bring better rain chances after 6 or 7 p.m. So our high today about 48 degrees, hit or miss on the light spritzes. But again, later tonight we'll get a little more widespread rain, changing to snow. Sandra, more on that coming up.
All right. Thank you, Brandon. The war in Ukraine has now entered its second month with an estimated 1,000 civilians killed and more than 10 million displaced. The actual numbers are likely much higher than that. Today, President Biden will get a firsthand look at the impact the war is having on Ukrainian families. Bree Jackson is in Washington.
President Biden traveling to Poland this morning after a series of high-stakes meetings in Brussels.
The American people would not be part of subsidizing Putin's brutal, unjustified war against the people of Ukraine.
The president and European leaders projecting unity against Russia's attacks on Ukraine, including possible chemical attacks, and warning Russian President Vladimir Putin.
We would respond. We would respond if he uses it. The nature of the response would depend on the nature of the use.
In a video message, Ukraine's president accused NATO leaders of failing to save lives, pressing them to do more.
NATO allies are providing significant support to Ukraine and their armed forces with advanced air defense systems, with anti-tank weapons.
World leaders unveiled new sanctions aimed at further crippling Russia's economy.
Sanctions against Russia has been extraordinary and exceptional.
President Biden also pushing back against criticism that sanctions have failed to stop Russian aggression.
I know that eliminating Russian gas will have costs for Europe, but it's not only the right thing to do from a moral standpoint, it's going to put us on a much stronger strategic footing.
The violence has triggered Europe's largest refugee crisis since World War II. More than 2 million Ukrainians fled to Poland, where President Biden will be able to see the scale of the refugee crisis firsthand. This morning, President Biden announced a new effort with the European Union to reduce Europe's dependence on Russian gas and oil. In Washington, I'm Bree Jackson for NBC News.
Meantime, here at home, members of St. Clair of Montefiasco and Grosse Pointe Park are heading to a Polish border town to help Ukrainian refugees. More than 50 parishioners have committed to going on the trip amid the humanitarian crisis over in Eastern Europe. Father Andrew Kowalczyk and his parishioners say they are heartbroken about the situation and they feel they need to help.
To see those kids and just the look on their faces, and everything is gone for them.
That's what the parishioners said, Father. If we need to do toilets, we do toilets. If we need to do beds, we will do beds. Cook the meal, we will cook the meal. To give a little relief to those who are right there in the front line.
20 of them are leaving next week on April 4th. Still to come here at noon, a couple is charged with harassing a Russian man, what they were accused of doing to the man and his home. But first, we're getting new details about that deadly accident at an amusement park, a ride now shut down after a teen falls more than 400 feet. Stay with us.